Jayam Vishnupad Paramamsa Parivrajkacharya Shtottara Chatra Shri Srimad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. ISKCON Samsthapakacharya Savior the whole world. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike. What is the meaning of these verses we chanted? Narayanam Namaskritya. Let us pay our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana, who is glorified throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam. The Lord incarnated as Nara Narayana Rishi. Nara Narayana Rishi, the twin sons of Dharma. One of the Prajapatis at the beginning of creation. So, Nara Rishi is the incarnation of Arjuna, and Narayana Rishi is the incarnation of Krishna. So Arjuna and Krishna are constant companions. So Arjuna and Krishna also appear as Nara Narayana Rishi. And Nara Narayana Rishi appeared for the sake of teaching us that the purpose of human life is self-realization, and for attaining self-realization one must undertake austerities, tapasya. Tapasya is required. Without tapasya, we cannot attain self-realization. So Nara Narayana Rishi, even now, they are performing tapasya in the Himalayas, in a place called Badrikashrama. Even now you can visit Badrikashrama. There is a temple of Nara Narayana in Badrikashrama. That is a place where they are performing tapasya. Of course, we cannot see them with our ordinary eyes, but their deity form is there in Badrikashrama. So deity is non-different from the personality. So we can have darshan, we can pray, and we can seek blessings. So Suta Goswami, at the beginning of the Bhagavatam, before he begins to speak the Bhagavatam, he is offering his respectful obeisances and teaching us that anybody wants to hear or study or read Bhagavatam, first of all take the blessings of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana and also the blessings of Naranarayana Rishi, Devim Saraswatim, also the blessings of Saraswati Devi, the goddess of learning. People generally take blessings of Saraswati Devi for getting some material knowledge. But material knowledge is useless as far as self-realization is concerned. Material knowledge is simply meant for bondage. Bondage. It only increases our miserable condition. We do not know that in trying to avoid miseries, we are making so many plans. But all those plans, if they are not in line with spiritual understanding, then they are simply increasing our bondage and multiplying our miseries. So therefore, we should seek the blessings of Goddess of Learning Saraswati Devi for spiritual knowledge. Nobody teaches you this. Everyone teaches you, pray to Mother Saraswati for some material knowledge. Material knowledge is very, very insignificant. Material knowledge is limited to knowledge of four things: how to eat, how to sleep, how to mate, and how to defend. These are the demands of the body. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithuna. And these demands are very easily met even by the animals. Samanyametat Pashubhi Narana. Shastra says that these are common for all living beings, especially if you consider the animals and the humans. These four activities are common. The animals are perfectly doing their business of eating, sleeping, mating and defending without any difficulty. They don't have factories, they don't have schools, they don't have colleges, but they are living. They are maintaining, they are carrying on their business. So, you don't require to specially undergo education, training, culture, all this for some material benefit. No. The real purpose of training, education, culture, knowledge, cultivation of knowledge, all this is spiritual advancement. Then once spiritual advancement is the aim of your education or your learning, then automatically the material necessities are taken care of. Automatically taken care of. There is no need for any separate endeavor. So one should pray to the Goddess of Learning, Saraswati Devi, for getting the blessing to acquire spiritual knowledge. And Bhagavatam is that unique scripture which is exclusively giving us spiritual knowledge. But as I said, in the course of getting spiritual knowledge, so many material knowledge, so much of material knowledge is also automatically there in the Bhagavatam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. We should also pay our respects to Vyasadeva, the author of the Bhagavatam. Why? Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krute Kimva Paraihi. Vyasadeva has compiled so many different kinds of literature. But among all the literature compiled by Vyasadeva, the topmost, para, the topmost literature is Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krute Kimva Paraihi. Where is the need for any other literature? This one literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, is enough for all purposes. Everything is there in the Bhagavatam. So we should pay our respects to Vyasadeva before we study or hear or read Srimad Bhagavatam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. One can conquer this material existence simply by paying respects to these personalities and hearing or reading or studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Otherwise, this material world you cannot conquer by some material methods, by material power, material knowledge, material skill, material wealth. You cannot conquer this material existence, not possible. Only by devotional service you are able to get out of material existence. You are able to make a solution to all material problems. So that is taught in the Srimad Bhagavatam by Vyasadeva. Then the next verse, Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu. All that is inauspicious, all those obstacles in our life are completely destroyed simply by hearing Bhagavatam. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. But if we want quickly to destroy all these inauspiciousness, then daily, regularly, always, every day hear Bhagavatam or read Bhagavatam or study Bhagavatam. So those of you who are coming to our temple once a week, so remaining days of the week, you come on Sunday, that is all right. But on other days, Monday to Saturday, at home, please hear or read or study Srimad Bhagavatam. Now if you got a smart mobile phone, then through YouTube you can hear the class every day sitting at home. Or you can read every day little Bhagavatam. Or somebody can read and others can hear. Hearing is more powerful than reading. Reading also should be done as hearing. Prabhupada's recorded voice in the form of these printed words is what you are hearing when you are reading or when you are reading Bhagavatam. Prabhupada's recorded voice is here. So Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, every day you must hear Bhagavatam or read Bhagavatam. Every day. Little. One lifetime is not enough to completely study Bhagavatam. Because so much is there. Whatever little you can read, hear, understand, that is enough. But do it daily so that quickly you become free from all inauspiciousness. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. Simply by hearing Bhagavatam, your life becomes free from all inauspiciousness. Almost it becomes nil. Prayeshu means almost reduced to nil. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, simply by daily hearing Bhagavatam or daily reading Bhagavatam. Then, Sutta Goswami says, Bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Then, irrevocable devotional service, naishtiki, bhakti, naishtika bhakti. In the beginning, when we are practicing bhakti, sometimes we feel like chanting, sometimes we don't feel like chanting. Some days we may come to the temple, some days we may feel like, oh, I cannot go to the temple. Any aspect of bhakti, in the beginning we are called kanishta. Kanishta means not fixed up, not regular. But by regularly hearing Bhagavatam or reading Bhagavatam, you become fixed up. Very easily you are able to practice bhakti every day. Very easily. Just like you practice, as soon as you get up, wash your face and brush your teeth. If you practice, then very easily you do it. You don't have to struggle that every day I have to do it. No struggle. Same way, if you every day hear Bhagavatam, then very easily you will be able to practice bhakti every day without any difficulty. Then your devotion within your heart, which is already there, bhakti is already there in everybody's heart. It simply has to be awakened. So that bhakti, which is dormant in the heart, is awakened simply by hearing Bhagavatam every day. After the heart becomes cleansed of all the dirty things, very quickly this happens if you hear Bhagavatam. So that's the meaning of the two verses we chanted. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 10, the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra, text 27. Na vai veda mahabhaga, na vai veda mahabhaga, na vai veda mahabhaga, bhavan kamavasham gataha, bhavan kamavasham gataha, bhavan kamavasham gataha, tejo anubhavam Sitaya, Tejonubhavam Sitaya, Tejonubhavam Sitaya, Yena Nito dasham imam yena nito dasham imam yena nito dasham imam navai veda mahabhaga bhavan kamavasham gataha tejonubhavam sitaya yena nito dashamimam. Navai veda mahabhaga bhavan kamavasham gataha tejonubhavam sitaya yena nito dashamimam. Navai veda mahabhaga bhavan kamavasham gataha bhavan kamavasham gataha tejonubhavam sitaya yena nito dashamimam. Navai veda mahabhaga bhavan kamavasham gataha tejonubhavam sitaya yena nito dashamimam. Na, not. Why? Indeed, Veda did know Mahabhaga, O greatly fortunate one, Bhavan, yourself, Kamavasham, influenced by lusty desires, Gataha, having become, Tejaha, by influence, Anubhavam, as a result of such influence, Sitaya, of Mother Sita, Yena, by which Nitaha, brought into Dasham, condition, Imam, like this, destruction. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. O greatly fortunate one, Ravana is being called as greatly fortunate one. We will see why he is called fortunate. You came under the influence of lusty desires, and therefore you could not understand the influence of Mother Sita. Now, because of her curse, you have been reduced to this state, having been killed by Lord Ramachandra. Please repeat this translation. O greatly fortunate one, you came under the influence of lusty desires, and therefore you could not understand the influence of Mother Sita. Now, because of her curse, you have been reduced to this state, having been killed by Lord Ramachandra. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Not only was Mother Sita powerful, but any woman who follows in the footsteps of Mother Sita can also become similarly powerful. There are many instances of this in the history of Vedic literature. Whenever we find a description of ideal chaste women, Mother Sita is among them. Mandodari, the wife of Ravana, was also very chaste. Similarly, Draupadi was one of 5 exalted chaste women. As a man must follow great personalities like Brahma and Narada, A woman must follow the path of such ideal women as Sita, Mandodari and Draupadi. By staying chaste and faithful to her husband, a woman enriches herself with supernatural power. It is a moral principle that one should not be influenced by lusty desires for another's wife. Matruvat paradareshu. An intelligent person must look upon another's wife as being like his mother. This is a moral injunction from Chanakya Shloka, the 10th Shloka. Matruvat paradareshu paradravyeshu loshtravat Atmavat sarva bhuteshu yah pashyati sapanditaha. One who considers another's wife as his mother, another's possessions as a lump of dirt, and treats all other living beings as he would himself, is considered to be learned. Thus Ravana was condemned not only by Lord Ramachandra, but even by his own wife Mandodari, because she was a chaste woman. She knew the power of another chaste woman, especially such a wife as Mother Sita Devi. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshata. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the description is given in brief about the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. So this killing of Ravana was also one of the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. The Supreme Lord, he doesn't have to endeavor especially to kill even the most powerful demon. In fact, he need not himself do anything like killing demons, because he has got his energies. His energies are supremely powerful. By his energy, he can kill any big demon. But as the Supreme Lord, who is always engaged in pastimes with his devotees, pastimes are activities of the Lord performed in relationship with his devotees. So as part of his pastimes in this material world, the Lord's pastimes are going on in the spiritual world and the material world. The difference is, in the spiritual world, the Lord's pastimes are eternal, because the spiritual world is eternal. In the material world, the pastimes are manifest only when the material world is manifest, because the material world is not always manifest. Avyakta and Vyakta, two phases of material world. It is created, it is maintained, and finally it is completely destroyed. Destruction is always happening, but relatively we say that destruction is not continuous. Just like this body, from the moment we take birth, this body is being continuously destroyed. What we foolishly think is growth is actually destruction. Just like a child, we say, grows and becomes a young person, a youth. But what is that change? It is destruction of the childhood body being replaced with another youth, body of a youth. Because we foolishly think in terms of growth, when this destruction happens, we are unable to understand that even at the time of death, this body is destroyed and a new body is given. Tatha dehantara praptihi. So one who is spiritually enlightened will not be bewildered by the change of body at death. Just like who is lamenting about change of body from childhood to youth. Kaumaram Yauvanam. This Kaumara is the childhood body. When the childhood body is gone, that itself we do not know that the childhood body is destroyed when a body of a youth is awarded to us. The body is changed. So this we understand from the Bhagavad Gita. Dehinosmin yatha dehe, asmin dehe. Within this body, Dehinaha, the real person, you or I or any soul, is undergoing this change. Change means the old one is destroyed and a new one is given. Old body is destroyed and new body is given. This is continuous destruction that is happening. But the final stroke is called death, or final stroke is called destruction. This material world also, same thing. The whole universe is created, maintained. Maintained means continuously destruction and creation is happening. That is maintenance. Foolishly we think maintenance means after creation it is remaining as it is. That's what we think as maintenance. But actually maintenance is not what was created is remaining. What was created is continuously being destroyed. So in the 12th canto, the Bhagavatam, there is a description. There is 4 kinds of annihilation, 4 kinds of destruction. Naimittika, then Atyantika, then Prakritika, and one more. So these different types of destruction, it is described. Time, Kala, is continuously destroying. But foolishly we think that Kala will destroy only at the time of death or only at the time of final destruction. Actually, Kala is destroying every moment. Every moment there is destruction. Just like this body. So many, scientists say that it's made up of so many, 70 trillion cells, an average count of the number of cells in an adult, grown-up adult. How many? 70 trillion cells. Now these 70 trillion cells, continuously some cells are destroyed and new cells are generated. Continuously it is happening. That's how the body is continuously changing. Body is continuously changing. So what is this change? Anything in this material world is constantly changing. Anything material is constantly changing. What is the change? The change is nothing but destruction of the old and creation of something new. Continuously it is happening. So reflect on this and don't lament about material destruction. Don't lament about it. Rather, try to see the unchanging reality in the midst of continuous change, material change. The unchanging reality is the spiritual truth. The spiritual truth about your own self, Atma. You remain through the changes. That's how you are able to witness the change. Because you remain when the body is changing from childhood to youth to old age. You remain. So that you who are remaining through the changes, you are eternal. You don't change. You are not destroyed. So this is to be heard, understood, contemplated, and most importantly, you have to realize this truth. Now also, through the changes of this body, I am remaining, or you are remaining through the changes of your body. Similarly, the changes that is happening in the whole universe, continuously changes are happening. Through all those changes, who is constantly remaining? It is the Supreme Lord, Vishnu. Vishnu has entered into this universe, after which the universe begins to develop and all the changes take place. Through all the changes, Vishnu remains as he is, without any change. He is the unchanging reality. So each of the jivas and the Supreme Lord Vishnu are unchanging truth in this material world. As far as matter is concerned, or material things are concerned, material bodies are concerned, or material planets are concerned, they are constantly changing, means destroying. They are being destroyed. They are being destroyed. Final destruction means Atyantika. Not Atyantika. It is, one more term is there. Atyantika is something else. So one is destruction every moment. One type of destruction is destruction every moment because of Kala. And the second type of destruction is the partial devastation at the end of day of Brahma. Partial devastation. So when the night of Brahma begins, or the day ends, that time the middle and lower planetary systems are submerged in the water of devastation. And all living entities in this middle and lower planetary systems die. And the spirit souls enter the body of Garbhodaka Shayi Vishnu. What about those in the upper planetary systems? The upper planetary systems are not destroyed. Neither the inhabitants of the upper planetary system, they don't die at the beginning of the night of Brahma. They all go to sleep. Where do they go to sleep? Inside the body of Garbhodaka Shayi Vishnu. They cannot remain in their own planets. In that sense, that is also one kind of destruction only. It's another kind of destruction only, partial destruction. So that's the second kind of destruction. And the third kind of destruction is the final destruction of this universe itself at the end of Brahma's life. When Brahma's life comes to an end, then the whole universe, upper, middle, lower planetary systems, and all the living entities, including the inhabitants of the upper planets, everyone has to die. Everyone has to die. And everyone enters, all the spirit souls don't die. Atma doesn't die. No more material body. They enter into the body of, the spiritual body of Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu. Everyone enters. Everyone means those who are not liberated. So these three types of destruction, continuously it is happening. Continuously it is happening. But there is one kind of destruction which is called Atyantika, which is the ultimate destruction. What is that? When a jiva in this material world is liberated, no more material birth and death, stopping the repetition of birth and death by getting out of this material existence and going back to Godhead. That is called Atyantika, ultimate destruction. Your material existence itself is completely finished. No more material body. Whereas Kala is destroying your body, but it is giving another body. Similarly, at the end of the day of Brahma, all those who die and enter the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, again, after the night is over, again creation begins. You are given a new body. So this destruction in creation, it is continuously going on, but sometime there is a period when there is a pause for this creation after destruction. The night of Brahma. So again there will be creation after the night of Brahma for those who are not liberated. Again they had to take another material body. Then at the end of Brahma's life, when destruction takes place, again creation is paused till the breath of Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu breathes in, the destruction takes place and everything enters. Matter and all the souls enters the body of Mahavishnu. Then Mahavishnu again after some time breathes out. Then everything comes out. All the living entities, they are injected into material nature and they again take birth. Again Brahma is born, birth of Brahma. One more term. One breath of, half a breath of Mahavishnu, that's all, our duration of this universe. What we think is fantastically long time, the duration of this universe, some 311 trillion years, according to the calculation on this earth, calculation of time on this earth. 311 trillion years, which is the duration of the life of Brahma, or the duration of the life of this universe. That is just half a breath of Mahavishnu. So, in the eternal time scale, spiritual time, this creation and destruction of the whole universe is like a flash of lightning. Like a flash of lightning. So don't compare your lifespan with Brahma's lifespan and think that Brahma lives fantastically long number of years. No. All of us are just existing for a small duration of time, a moment. It is momentary compared to eternal time, compared to eternity. So in the spiritual world there is eternal life. Material world, through all this creation and destruction, through all this, the Lord is constantly performing His pastimes as long as this material world is manifest. So Lord's pastimes are going on in the spiritual world and the material world. Even in the material world, as long as the material world is manifest, continuously His pastimes are going on. But we cannot see the pastimes always. Just like in Vrindavan. As long as this earth planet remains, the pastimes of Krishna are going on in Vrindavan continuously for the duration of this earth, existence of the earth planet, manifestation of the planet. But in between, Krishna becomes visible. That is when we say Krishna incarnates. Avatara. Avatara means the pastimes are going on but not visible to ordinary eyes. When those pastimes become visible, we say Avatara. Incarnation. Otherwise, Supreme Lord is continuously engaged in pastimes with His devotees. So when the devotees and the Supreme Lord in His particular incarnation form become visible, we say Avatara. So Ramachandra is even now present in Ayodhya Dham. Even now He is present. But we cannot see now. When He incarnated, even people with ordinary vision could have seen Him. So, Lord Ramachandra's pastimes are eternal, Nitya Leela. All the activities of the Supreme Lord in His various incarnations are eternal. They are eternally going on in the spiritual world. But some of those pastimes are manifest in the material world. So one of them is this killing these demons. Of course, there is no pastime of killing demons in the spiritual world. Why? There are no demons in the spiritual world. There are no demons, only devotees. Everyone is devotee in the spiritual world. The material world, some people are devotees, some people are demons. So these demons, even the Lord, there is no need to kill the demons, but these demons, they unnecessarily give trouble to devotees. Without any reason, even without any reason. Or simply they become envious of devotees and give them trouble. Devotees are always happy in Krishna consciousness. So these demons, sometimes when they become very powerful, they look at devotees and they say, this devotee, he doesn't have wealth, he doesn't have power, he doesn't have so many comforts like I have, and still he is happy. So they become very envious. And then they try to give trouble to the devotees. So, demons are always, the demonic nature is such that they are always envious of devotees, of those who are divine natured. the demoniac natured persons. Demons means those of demoniac nature. Actually, soul cannot be labeled as demon or devotee. It is the mentality of some souls. They have acquired this demoniac mentality. Asuri bhava, swabhava. Daivi swabhava and asuri swabhava. So how is it that some people develop this asuri swabhava and some others develop daivi swabhava? It is because of their association, and that association also is chosen because of their desire to enjoy in a particular way. It's not that those of demoniac nature are the only ones who are enjoying materially. Even those of divine nature, they also enjoy life in this material world. But their enjoyment is in a pious way, in accordance with the Shastra. So this Ravana, even though he had very, very beautiful wife, Mandodari, and she was the most chaste lady. She was very faithful to Ravana. So even then, because of his lusty desires, as is explained here, O greatly fortunate one, fortunate because of all his pious deeds, he became very, very opulent, very rich. He had a beautiful chaste wife as Mandodari, and he had many other queens. They were all serving him very nicely, but because of his lusty desires, he could not understand the influence of Mother Sita. He thought Sita to be another ordinary woman. So in his foolish way, he thought, if Sita doesn't agree to marry me, I'll forcibly take her away and force her to give up Ramachandra and accept me, because I am much more powerful, I am much more influential. So, like this, the thinking of the demoniac natured person is that I am the supreme. If I am not the supreme, I'll become the supreme. So, demoniac nature means trying to compete with God. Trying to compete with God. That's demoniac nature. So, in that sense, sometimes the scientists who are after controlling material nature, because they are God's competitors. The material nature is completely controlled by Krishna. Maya Jakshena Prakritihi Suyate Sucharacharam. So because the scientists are trying to control nature, even though they are baffled in every step, but still, therefore they are described sometimes as demoniac natured persons. Sometimes when people read Prabhupada's books and Prabhupada describes the scientists as demons, they don't understand why Prabhupada is calling scientists as demons. It is because they are against God's control. They are envious of God. God has made everything perfectly. What is the need for the scientists to meddle with this arrangement? There's no need to interfere with the arrangement made by God. They think that they're going to improve whatever has been created, they think they're going to improve. But actually, in their attempt to improve, they are only making it worse. They're only making it worse. There are innumerable examples in the scriptures about this. And even people who analyze that how they create one thing called plastic, and it was, when it was discovered or invented or whatever, it was considered a wonderful invention. The greatest wonder of the 20th century. This is what I used to read titles. Anything can be made with plastic. And plastic was soon replacing so many different other materials for producing different products. But now we know plastic has become the biggest headache to dispose. And it is creating so much of garbage which is not degradable. And now latest is microplastic is entering entered the air, the atmosphere, the ocean, the water bodies, and even human beings' blood is having that microplastic. So plastic is such a horrible thing that they invented and created so much havoc in the whole world. Very soon, scientists will be telling you, try to avoid plastic. Very soon, scientists will be telling you this, medical scientists will be telling you this. If you want to protect your health, avoid using plastic, at least food items, let it not come in contact with plastic. Otherwise, we are misled by food safe. Some type of plastic, they say food safe. Plastic is not at all safe, whatever grade of plastic it is. So like this, when we interfere with material nature, we should live according to the scriptural directions, because the material nature is created in a certain way. There is a certain purpose. The scientists are unable to figure out, the materialists are unable to figure out what is the purpose of this creation. The purpose of the creation is to actually make us realize we don't belong to this place. That is the purpose of this creation. And we are meant to, especially in the human form of life, understand we belong to the spiritual world. First of all, we should get educated. There is another world of a different kind, different nature. Parastasmattu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha. So, that spiritual world is where we belong. There is eternal life. There is no disease. There is no miseries. There is no old age. There is no death. That is where we are meant to transfer ourselves, especially in this human form of life. So that we should understand as the purpose of creation, to realize we don't belong here. But not try to live here, settle here very nicely, comfortably. No, that's not possible. Neither we should attempt that. So that is explained in all the scriptures, especially the Srimad Bhagavatam, that you cultivate devotional service and you go back to Godhead, where you actually belong. I'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. One announcement. We'll be celebrating Sri Narsimha Jayanti.